Hey, my name's Michael Reed. I'm just a regular guy, an auto mechanic from a small town in Ohio where everybody knows your name and your business. My life's never been a walk in the park, but I've always done my best to keep going, no matter how hard things got. Especially for my daughter, Emma. She's 15 now, and she's my entire world, my reason to get up every morning. But sometimes life throws you curveballs that hit so hard you're not sure you'll ever stand back up. Today, I want to tell you my story. It's about how I nearly lost everything that mattered to me, how I fought through betrayal, lies, and a system stacked against me, and how, in the end, justice prevailed. This one's for anyone who's ever felt like the odds were against them but kept fighting anyway. 5 years ago, my world fell apart. My wife, Linda, walked out on us. No warning, no note, no nothing. One day she was there, the next she was gone, leaving me with our 10-year-old daughter, Emma, and a mountain of debts. I still remember the day I came home to an empty house, finding a half-written grocery list on the counter, like she'd just changed her mind about our life and walked away. I was working 2 jobs back then, fixing cars at the shop during the day and unloading delivery trucks at night, sometimes not sleeping for days. It was brutal, but I did it for Emma. I wanted her to have a roof over her head, food on the table, and a chance at a good life. She was my little girl, always smiling, always asking me to teach her how to use my tools. For her, I'd have done anything. We built a life, just the 2 of us. It wasn't fancy. Our house is small, the furniture's old, and the bills never seemed to stop coming. But we were happy. Emma grew up tough, like me, but with her mother's spark. She'd roll her eyes at my bad jokes, but she'd still sit with me in the garage, handing me wrenches while I worked on a neighbor's car. I thought we were okay. I thought we'd made it through the worst. Then, out of nowhere, Linda came back. 5 years after she vanished, she rolled into town in a shiny black SUV, dressed in designer clothes, with a new husband named Richard, an attorney with a smug grin and a Rolex. She showed up at my shop one day, all smiles, saying she wanted to reconnect with her daughter. I couldn't believe it. This was the woman who hadn't sent so much as a birthday card to Emma in 5 years, and now she was acting like she'd never left? I told her to stay away, but Linda had other plans. She went straight to court, filing for full custody of Emma. Her argument? I was an unfit father. Said I was drowning in poverty, that I couldn't give Emma the life she deserved. Meanwhile, she and Richard had a big house, fancy vacations, and all the connections money could buy. To the judge, she looked like the perfect parent. Me? I was just a guy in grease-stained overalls, barely scraping by. It felt like a punch to the gut. Emma's my everything. Losing her wasn't an option. But the worst part wasn't even the lawsuit. It was seeing how it affected Emma. She's a teenager, and teenagers are impressionable. Linda started showing up at Emma's school, taking her shopping, buying her a new phone, designer clothes, promising her trips to Europe. Emma's eyes lit up in a way I hadn't seen in a while. She started asking me questions that cut deep. Dad, why can't we afford stuff like Mom can? Why don't we ever go anywhere? I tried to explain that I was doing my best, that every dollar I earned went to keeping us afloat. But how do you compete with promises of a glamorous life? Emma started pulling away, spending more time texting her mom, coming home later. One night, she told me Linda said she could move in with her. My heart sank. I could see her slipping away, and I didn't know how to stop it. I was losing hope, but then I found out the truth. Linda wasn't back for Emma, not really. It was about money. My mom, God rest her soul, left Emma an inheritance, a good chunk of money she'd get when she turned 18. It was meant to help her go to college, start her life. Somehow, Linda found out about it, and she wanted control. Her new husband, Richard, was in on it too. They were planning to get custody of Emma so they could manage her trust fund and siphon it off for their own schemes. When I heard that, something in me snapped. I wasn't just fighting for my daughter anymore. I was fighting to protect her future. I didn't have much, but I had grit. I found a lawyer named Joe, an old school guy with a cheap suit and a heart of gold. He'd been practicing law in our town for decades and took my case for almost nothing because he believed in doing what's right. Joe and I became a team. We started digging into Linda and Richard's lives, and what we found was ugly. They weren't just after Emma's money. They'd been running shady financial deals for years. Richard had a history of manipulating clients, hiding assets, and dodging taxes. We tracked down bank records, emails, even a couple of people they'd swindled in the past. One guy, a former business partner of Richard's, told us how they'd cheated him out of his savings. It was the kind of evidence that could turn the tide. But the hardest part wasn't the legal fight. It was fixing things with Emma. One night, after a long day at the shop, I sat her down in our living room. The TV was off, the house was quiet, and I could see she was nervous. I laid it all out, how her mom left us, how I'd worked myself to the bone to keep us together, how Linda was using her to get to the inheritance. I showed her the documents Joe and I had found, bank statements, emails between Linda and Richard talking about securing the trust. Emma didn't want to believe me at first. She got angry, called me a liar, stormed off to her room. I thought I'd lost her for good. But the next morning, she came to me, tears in her eyes, and hugged me. "I'm sorry, Dad," she said. "I don't want to go with her." That moment, it was like the sun breaking through the clouds. I knew we were in this together. The court date came, and it felt like walking into a lion's den. Linda and Richard sat there, cool and confident, with a team of high-priced lawyers. Their side painted me as a failure, a dead-end dad who couldn't provide for his kid. But Joe was ready. He laid out every piece of evidence we'd gathered, the financial records, the testimonies, the emails. He showed the judge how Linda had abandoned Emma for years and only came back when there was money to be made. And then, the moment that changed everything, Emma asked to speak. She stood up, her voice shaking but strong, and told the judge she wanted to stay with me. She said I was the one who'd always been there, the one who loved her, not her mom. I don't think I've ever been prouder or more terrified than I was watching her in that courtroom. The judge took it all in. When he finally ruled, it was like a weight lifted off my chest. He denied Linda's custody claim and ordered her and Richard to pay a fine for their shady dealings. Richard's law license even came under investigation after our evidence came to light. Linda? She left town as fast as she'd shown up, her tail between her legs. I don't know if she'll ever try to come back, but I know one thing, she's not getting anywhere near my daughter again. Now, Emma and I are rebuilding. It's not perfect. She's still a teenager, so we butt heads sometimes, but we're a team again. I've been teaching her how to fix cars in the shop, and she's got a knack for it. Last weekend, she helped me rebuild a carburetor, and I swear she was prouder than I was. We're not rich, and we probably never will be, but we've got each other, and that's enough. This story isn't just about me and Emma. It's about fighting for what's right, even when the deck's stacked against you. It's about holding on to the people you love, no matter how hard it gets. Justice isn't always easy to come by. You've got to claw your way to it sometimes. But if you fight for what matters, you'll find a way. Thanks for listening, folks. If you're going through your own battles, don't give up. Keep fighting. You're stronger than you know.